wake up already tired. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that sits in your bones, the kind that makes getting out of bed feel like lifting something heavier than your own body. You go through the motions, coffee, emails, small talk, church on Sunday, hands raised, mouth singing the words. But inside, nothing, just static, just the hum of a life running on fumes. You've told yourself it's a season. You've told yourself you just need more discipline, more consistency, one more early morning devotional that finally sticks. So you try harder, you read the plan, you check the box, and somehow you end up more depleted than before you started. What if the problem isn't your effort? What if the problem is that you've been trying to fill a tank that was never meant to be filled by you in the first place? By the end of this video, you're going to understand why trying harder has been quietly working against you, and what it actually means to plug back in. Think about your phone for a second. When the battery's low, you don't scold it. You don't tell it to try harder, to push through, to muster up more charge through sheer willpower. You plug it in. That's it. That's the whole solution. The power was never generated by the phone. It was received, stored, passed through a connection it didn't create. Now think about your life the same way. Hear this clearly. You were never designed to generate your own spiritual power. You were designed to receive it. Jesus said it plainly, long before phones or batteries or burnout culture existed. In John chapter 15, he tells his disciples, I am the vine. You are the branches, not the roots, not the trunk, not the source, the branch. A branch doesn't manufacture its own life. It simply stays connected, and the life flows through it. Detach the branch, and it doesn't matter how hard that branch tries. It withers, not because it lacked effort, because it lacked connection. This was radical when Jesus said it. The religious culture of the day ran almost entirely on performance, sacrifices, rituals, rule-keeping, a constant ledger of spiritual effort and spiritual reward. People were exhausted trying to earn favor with God through sheer output. And into that exhausted culture, Jesus doesn't say try harder. He says abide. Let's put faces on this. Picture two people. The first is a striver. She wakes up every day with a mental checklist. Pray for 20 minutes. Read 3 chapters, serve at church. Respond to that person who hurt her with grace. She doesn't actually feel she's doing all the right things. But underneath it, there's a quiet, gnawing fear. If I stop performing, will God still want me? Every act of devotion is secretly an act of anxiety. She's not abiding. She's auditioning. The second is an abider. He's not doing less. In fact, from the outside, his life might look similar. He prays, he reads, he serves. But the posture underneath is different. He's not performing to be loved. He's resting in the fact that he already is. His obedience isn't a transaction to secure God's affection. It's a response to affection he already has. Not a visit, not a transaction, a dwelling. Same actions, completely different fuel source. And here's the quiet tragedy. You can do all the right Christian things and still be running on empty because you've mistaken the branch's job for the vine's job. You've been trying to generate what you were only ever meant to receive. So which one are you? Be honest with yourself for a second. Are you striving to earn a connection you already have? Or are you actually abiding in it? Because the exhaustion you feel isn't a sign that you're doing too little. It's a sign that you've been unplugged. So how do you actually plug back in? Not in theory, in practice. Here are 3 shifts that move you from striving to abiding. Switch 1, the narrative switch. The flip, stop asking, what do I need to do for God today? And start asking, what is God already doing in me today? The striver's mind defaults to output. The abider's mind defaults to awareness. The practice, before you do anything else in the morning, before the checklist, before the to-do list, sit for 60 seconds and simply say, I'm already loved. I'm already His. Not as a hype line, as a recalibration. You're not psyching yourself up. You're plugging in. Switch 2, the rhythm switch. The flip, trade performance-based devotion for presence-based devotion. A striver's prayer time is measured in minutes completed. and Abita's prayer time is measured in connection felt. The practice, instead of rushing through a reading plan to check the box, stop when one verse or one thought catches you and just sit with it. Don't finish the chapter. Finish the moment. Depth over completion. Switch 3, the rest switch. The flip, stop treating rest as a reward you earn after enough output, and start treating it as a rhythm you were designed for. God didn't rest on the seventh day because he was tired. He rested to model a rhythm for people who would be tempted to think their worth came from constant output. The practice, build one non-negotiable hour this week where you produce nothing, prove nothing, and simply exist in God's presence. No agenda, just connection. Here's what life looks like when you actually live this way. The mornings don't necessarily get easier. The emails still come. The demands still pile up. But something underneath shifts. You stop bringing a resume to God and start bringing your actual self. Prayer stops feeling like a performance review and starts feeling like coming home. You find yourself doing the exact same things you used to do, serving, reading, showing up, but the exhaustion underneath is gone because the fuel source changed. You're not pulling from a well you dug yourself. You're drawing from a vine that was never depleted in the first place. People will start to notice something different about you. Not that you're doing more, but that you seem less frantic while doing it. That's not a coincidence. That's what a branch looks like when it finally stays connected. It's not about striving. It's about abiding. It's not about proving your worth to God. It's about resting in the worth He already gave you. It's not about running on empty. It's about staying plugged in. If this spoke to something in you, I want you to do one thing before you close this video. Comment below, Father, teach me to abide. Not because typing a comment changes anything spiritually, but because naming it out loud, even in a comment box, is often the first honest step toward actually living it. If this helped you feel a little less alone in the exhaustion you've been carrying, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you want more of this, real, grounded, unhurried teaching that meets you where you actually are, subscribe to Bible Revelation. This is just the beginning of the conversation.